What up, people? What's good? Salute.
Yes, sir.
Yo, what's good, everybody? Salute to the tribe. We're hip hop and comics and hip hop. We're a niche channel. Reserved for the best is super dope. I do sell comics. Check me out on Instagram at 6th_element_comic. We do live auctions, live claim sales. I rock with tooth and claw. Oh God, yeah. So it was nobody in here. We're just fucking around. But anyways, guys. So if you are in here and you made it, this is the 6th element of hip hop. I am your host, Reno Noir, and this is my co-host Sada in the building. What's up? How you doing?
I'm doing good. How are you doing?
Pretty good. Our other co-host, Stu Dog, is out of the country for the week. He's vacationing with the fam. So he won't be in today, but we're gonna rock it out. We got, I don't know, Sada, if you had any particular thing that you wanted to talk about, but we have
not at the moment. It can wait because I wanted to talk about Super Sons, but that can wait. I can wait on that.
Super Sons.
Yeah, they released the trailer for it some time ago. It's coming out. Yeah.
Nice. Okay.
For DC, it's DC. Hold on, wait. Super. Yeah. Yeah, they released it about 10 days ago. I'm not sure when it's coming out, but yeah.
Oh, that's right.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. This looks phenomenal. I think it looks really cool. You don't think it looks cool?
I don't know. I'm not digging the animation style. Like,
that's what I love about it.
I don't know. I feel like it just looks choppy. I think that's what it is for me. It kind of looks choppy for me.
Yeah, and I think it's CGI, right? So I think it's, they usually do regular animation, but I think this is like all CGI, right?
Yeah, I think so. It's similar to Batman Ninja, so I think it's the same thing.
Yep.
So I was like, I don't know.
That does make it look weird. Yeah,
it looks weird for me just because I'm so used to like the other animation styles.
Yeah.
But I mean, story-wise, it looks all right.
You know what? I think it's a cool sort of spin. It's not something that I'm gonna be like into, but it's like, this is something different, something cool to kind of pass the time. I don't think it's like a big epic thing that I'm gonna like love or anything. No.
Yeah, I definitely think it's something that'll just like pass the time. I'll catch it once it goes on HBO Max, probably whenever that happens. So that'll be way down the line. I don't think it's something I need to get on DVD right now.
Yeah, probably not. But let's show everybody what we're talking about.
Oh,
so
yeah.
The sons of Batman and Superman getting together, whooping some ass. Really cool idea. Check it out.
This is the...
Welcome to the Batcave.
Oh, that's the Batmobile and the Batcomputer. Who's the new kid?
John, this is Batman's son, Damian.
Ow! Well, he's obviously not invulnerable.
Reminds me of us when we first met.
I was nicer.
What are you doing here? Aliens are taking over the globe.
There is nothing you can do to stop it.
It is time. It is time. It is time. It is time. It is time.
Come on, farm boy. We gotta go save our dads. justice, dweebs. Let's do this thing.
Yeah. Well,
Like,
okay.
I can't see him taking on the Justice League and like being successful.
That's what I was gonna say. Do you think that Superman's son and Batman's Damian could take on the Justice League?
No, not without some additional help. Not alone. I don't think so.
Yeah. I mean, could Superman and Batman even beat the whole Justice League if they were really on their game? You got Martian Manhunter. I mean, Green Lantern's got the potential.
Yeah, I feel like Martian Manhunter alone, like that's
Yeah,
a lot.
that's
So
a beast
I
right
don't
there.
know.
As you
Even
say.
with Batman's like contingency plans, like I feel like they'd need just maybe like 2 more people to kind of rein
Yeah.
him in.
And the thing with his contingency plans is like shit has to line up perfectly for it to work. Like if anything goes wrong, or he doesn't get the kryptonite or whatever it is,
Right.
Yeah.
See, I don't know. His most like viable plan is with Superman.
Yeah.
And he's gonna be fighting with him. So yeah, I
Right.
don't know about that one.
Batman. Yes, I picked up.
Oh, that's so nice.
It is really cool.
Ooh, I love that.
The Batman's motorcycle. So it's got this little nugget right here. So it rolls and everything, and you can put this thing in the middle here and stand it up however you want.
Nice.
It fits on the back wheel like that. And I was surprised the figure didn't come with it. It actually just fits it.
Oh, nice. Okay, I thought it was a double deal or whatever. Oh, okay. Nice.
Yeah, that was like $40 just the motorcycle.
That's
And
not
then-
bad.
It's not bad. No.
Yeah, that's not bad at all.
Where did it go? All right. Yeah, it just came in a little box like that.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. But that's
Also, I don't know about Starro being like the main villain. Feels like a Justice League threat. I thought it would be like maybe something a little more street level, something just
yeah, because it's like I know they're not only it's Damian and Superboy not only taking on the Justice League but Starro too. It's like so the whole population. Yeah.
But otherwise, it looks all right. It doesn't look terrible, so I'm gonna check it out regardless.
Right. But it looks like could be fun, could be entertaining.
Yeah.
I mean, it wasn't the art style or the animation that I like. It was the art style. I thought the art style was pretty cool.
Yeah, it depends because like there's I don't know if you know Iron Man Armored Adventures. It uses a similar art style like that, and I really like that show. So I guess it just depends for me. I guess it depends on like the writing. So maybe this movie, if it has great writing, then it'll just support the visuals. I think that's how I work. So what's up, Corey? Hi.
Yeah, for sure. Big Country in the building. What up, Big Country? But yeah, it could be good. It could be for kids. It could be kind of kiddie, but it doesn't seem to be really. I mean, seems like most of their stuff.
Yeah, it doesn't seem terrible. I love a good Batman Superman team up, so I'm here for it. It's been a long time actually thinking about it.
Right.
I think the last one was it wasn't Public Enemies. I feel like there was one after that, but that's the one that's vivid. But yeah, it's been a while.
Well, real quick, since we're on the DC Batman kind of thing right now, I found this cool, one of those the 10 best kind of thing because I love the Batman animated series.
Yes, me too.
Yeah, it's phenomenal, and this is like the 10 Batman animated series aged poorly.
Oh, this is an interesting list. I've never seen this.
No, and I'm like, well, who aged poorly? Because like all those characters are still awesome. But
Right.
I mean, Two-Face, that's my man. Look at that. That design, that Two-Face design is
Woo!
my favorite Two-Face.
It's
I love
perfect. I hope they
really
bring it back live action. I mean, they can do it. I hope so because it's so good.
it is. It is. It's the best one so far. And we still personally like I know everybody did, but I didn't really like the Two-Face in the Nolan Batman. I didn't like the actor portraying Harvey Dent. I didn't like how he acted as much. And then I don't want him to just be a skull, just a
Right.
burnt face. Like that's not what like you see him right there. He's got crazy eyebrows, like a giant eye. His mouth is all distorted.
I think that was just to fit with like the realism for the Nolan verse. And I feel like I liked it, but I definitely see where you're coming from. Yeah.
What did they say? So Batman animated series 1992 to 1999. It went to 99? Are you
8
kidding?
years. Wait. Wait. Because I thought it was only like 4 seasons long. Like,
Yeah. I only remember it going to like 94 maybe like 2 years or something. But to be fair, that's when I probably stopped watching it, but I don't know. But I definitely didn't know it kept going through to 99.
maybe they talking about the movies, tie-in movies. I don't know.
Batman the Animated Series 1992 to 1999 was and is beloved by adults and children alike, but not every character in the series aged well. It tackled some mature topics such as addiction, recidivism, and class, changing the landscape of both cartoon and superhero television programming, and it proved that these shows can be engaging, artistically sophisticated, and nuanced all at once. I agree. The animated series characters are one of the most dynamic elements in the series. Heroes and villains have the opportunities to demonstrate why they make their choices. Nevertheless, not every character receives the same screenwriting treatment, and thus some are pigeonholed or stereotyped rather than fleshed out. Oh yeah, off the top, this is a character I love. I just
I like the ventriloquist a lot.
I do. But they said, okay, so ventriloquist and Two-Face missed the mental health mark.
Okay, I kind of want to read the explanation. Maybe they have a point.
Yeah, because all right. So dissociative identity disorder, erroneously called multiple or split personality disorder, is a condition characterized by 2 or more personality states or alters. DID is infrequent enough that the likelihood in 2 different men in the same city having it is very small. Interesting fact. And both Harvey Dent, Two-Face, and Arnold Wesker, Scarface, are supposed to have versions of this disorder, right? More importantly, Batman animated series suggests that DID is associated with criminality by having 2 villains with the condition and little or no explanation of how it develops. The series links crime and DID, stigmatizing it. They already lost me. That's bullshit. As with most mental health conditions, individuals with DID are much more likely to be victims of abuse and mistreatment and perpetrate. You know what this list is? This is not aged badly. This is in our current societal climate. Some of it doesn't jive, or some of it would be maybe not received as well today. And I get but I didn't. Yeah, so they're talking more along the lines of social.
Like, I get what they're saying with it being linked to like criminality, but you could make that same argument for Moon Knight because of all the stuff that happens with him in his show, and he has DID. He's not exactly heroic throughout most of his time on the show. So I guess I get their argument. I don't know if I don't think they meant to stigmatize it. I don't think that was I don't think that was purposeful. It just, I don't think it was purposeful.
Yeah. Because it's
especially not with Two-Face. Certainly not with Two-Face. Because Two-Face I think he was a bit more nuanced than the ventriloquist from what I remember. So, yeah.
And ventriloquist, I don't know. Is it a puppet or is it alive?
No, I think it's a puppet. He controls it with his hand, but it's I don't think it's sentient. I think it's just presented as another person, but it's not. Like, it's the guy.
See, I always thought, and maybe there's different, universes or iterations, but I always thought it was more like a master blaster situation where it's like this little guy and he's got this big guy that kind of carries him around, and
Yeah.
they look like ventriloquists, and the guy dresses up like a ventriloquist, but like a doll. But I thought he was alive, but either way, it's not DID. But what I'm saying is, like, if that's the case, then are clowns stigmatized with criminality? Are penguins stigmatized with criminality? I mean, just because they happen to have this disorder and they happen to be criminals doesn't mean that they're saying everyone with this disorder is a criminal.
Right.
Like, everyone with a clown makeup is not the Joker. So that's where I'm like, that's where they lose me with it.
Yeah, I think it's definitely a puppet, but
Okay.
it's like presented as
Yeah.
a sentient being because of his disorder. So
Right.
I get that. Okay.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Hmm.
All right. Next one, number 9. Harvey Bullock is a creep with an axe to grind.
I mean, he kind of is a creep when I rewatch the show and even the movies he appeared in. He's a little bit of a weirdo.
Yeah. Yeah. What they say? He isn't intended as the series' most likable character, but viewers are meant to see him as a good person.
I don't know
Anyone who
about that
walks,
one.
yeah, anyone who talks down to others, treats people poorly, and makes decisions out of hatred and ego, hardly dissent is
I don't think
hardly.
they ever tried to present him as like a good person. I think it was always clear he was an asshole and he had an axe to grind with Batman specifically. Like that was
Right.
always clear as day. So I don't really agree with that.
Yeah. I don't think that he was trying to be passed off as a decent dude.
Yeah, no.
And then they even say is hardly decent though. So when is it? When did they try to make him decent? But anyway,
No.
he said, in The Shadow of the Bat Part 1, Bullock condescendingly tells Barbara Gordon, "Don't worry your pretty little head." In POV, he refuses to take any responsibility for a drug bust gone south. In A Bullet for Bullock, he even admits to bending the rules to make arrests. As Batman points out, we're on the same side. But unlike the Big Bat, Bullock has few redeeming qualities.
This is like they think they're making like this bold take and they're not.
Well,
like at all.
It's so common today, like people trying to like take these bold stances on, social justice and all, and it ends up falling flat. It ends up seeming hollow and just like, okay, so their point is that he said, "Don't worry your pretty little head," which in today's society that would be condescending to women. But
yeah, but like this whole thing is like mute because they've never ever tried to present him as a good guy, not like Commissioner Gordon. Never have they done that ever with Harvey, ever, like ever.
No, yeah, he was always a bad dude.
Whoa.
Bane is a racial stereotype. Oh God.
Uh-oh.
I knew it. I'm telling you. This whole list is all about
luchador.
The thing is, though, he's not a racial stereotype. He's Latino. But anyway, Batman the animated series was largely effective because of the airtime it gave to Gotham's rogues gallery motives and backstories. Unfortunately, it did not afford Bane the same generosity it did other characters. He is one of the show's few characters of color. Bane embodies a number of offensive stereotypes of Latin American people and countries. Though Bane was the victim of Projecto Gilgamesh, the show frames him as responsible for his own plight. Gilgamesh reflects Americans' collective misunderstanding of Cuba as a country. Finally, Bane's venom is a literal manifestation of machismo, the violent strain of masculinity unfairly ascribed to men from Latin American backgrounds. Had Batman the animated series offered more sympathy for Bane, he might read as less of a caricature.
At least, I mean, with his appearance, like with his character in this show specifically, I don't really see that. Maybe when he first came out, yeah, he was probably a caricature. Absolutely, I believe that. But in this show, I don't know. I don't know. I feel like I don't see that.
Yeah, I don't see that in this show.
Yeah, that feels kind of like a reach, but
That's what I'm saying. This whole list seems like they're really reaching, like you said, trying to take a, take a stance, and it's just not.
yeah, I think the only one they have a semi argument on is the first one we read. Like that's literally it. So far, they're one for nothing.
Yeah. All right, here we go. This is number 7. The Mad Hatter has a bad case of nice guy syndrome.
Okay, I don't remember him for anything. So let's see what they say.
Nice guy. Though applicable to people of any gender or orientation, nice guy syndrome typically refers to the romantic entitlement some straight men feel when they are nice to women. Jarvis Tetch, eventually the Mad Hatter, has every symptom. He pursues his coworker Alice, who has already set boundaries with him. He weaponizes big gestures, and he believes Alice owes him affection. I can still win, he says, after Alice shows him her engagement ring from her fiance Billy, treating her like a prize in a competition. While Batman Animated Series paints Tetch's endeavors to woo Alice as concerning, it offers him more sympathy than he deserves. After Batman pulls Billy and Alice from the Hatter's control, the frame zooms outward to capture a woeful Tetch and a statue of a tearful mock turtle commiserating with him. He's allowed to feel however he wants. Tetch's entitlement and the show's support of it is ugly.
I don't know about that one. I mean, based on what they wrote, I don't think the show was trying to ever present his actions as something that was right or something that you should go out and do yourself.
Right. No.
So, I don't know.
But I know, I get what you're saying. Like, this would apply if they weren't supposed to be this.
Yeah. I don't think, this is again trying to have this big take, and it's not a big take. Like, that's exactly what his character was supposed to be, and that's what it was, and they didn't try to present it as something that was right. So what do you even, I don't understand how it aged poorly, because he's a villain. So,
right.
I don't get it.
Aging poorly would have been like, that's what I'm saying. Like, if he was supposed to be a good guy and did that,
right,
would be
like that would be like, like that's aged poorly, but that's not what this is.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, exactly.
Mm-mm.
He's like a Pepe Le Pew. He's chasing around Alice kind of thing, and I know they canceled Pepe Le Pew now. So,
Pepe Le Pew. Ooh, yeah. See, that aged poorly. Pepe Le Pew definitely aged poorly.
yeah, exactly. But because he wasn't supposed to be a villain, but it was supposed to be cute and funny. Look at he's chasing the girl, not thinking about how the girl probably feels terrified. All right, so Livewire is gratuitously mean to Harley.
Oh boy, they fucked around with Harley, guys. Oh no.
There's no honor among thieves. Sure, she's a villain, but Livewire is unnecessarily cruel to Harley Quinn in Girls' Night Out. When Poison Ivy, Livewire, and Harley take on Shopping Mall, Livewire wastes no time pushing Harley around. First, Livewire rudely shoves Harley aside, sicks an ATM on her, and then orders Harl to put all the cash in the car. Even when Harley tries to help Livewire washing silicate dust off her electricity manipulator, Livewire returns to the favor by threatening to punch Harley. Luckily, the rinse knocks the shock out before she can harm Quinn. No one in Batman the Animated Series said Livewire was a stand-up gal, but this was conduct unbecoming of a villain.
Moving on. You don't even make sense. Moving on. Like, you make no sense.
These are villains, pal. Come on.
I love the baby doll episode. Oh no.
Let me guess. Disability representation.
Oh man, I may have a slight bias because I really like this episode.
Well, it says while Baby Doll treats its titular character with tenderness, it also toes the line between acknowledging how the world disables people with chronic conditions and suggesting this might drive a person to do horrible things. Mary Doll, eternally young due to systemic hypoplasia, a fake condition, is struggling to find work as an actress, in no small part because she was typecast as a child. Doll is one of the very small number of disabled and physically non-normative characters in Batman the Animated Series, making such character esteem aberrant. Aberrant?
Yeah, I think aberrant. Yeah.
Yeah, aberrant. The series' only disabled characters are villains, playing into aberrant stereotypes about disability. Since The Killing Joke was published before Baby Doll aired and Barbara Gordon was already part of the show, incorporating Oracle into the show might have helped balance these scales.
Okay, so they're going back into the argument of the disability leading to criminality. So they have a semi-argument. I'm not going to disagree with them. But in this case, I think all of this happened just because she never received the help that she needed. I think that's just what it was, just a lot of trauma that built up, and it was never addressed. She never went to therapy or anything. So she just it just spiraled. And that would happen with anyone, if you have a disability or if you don't. So I don't know. I can't really agree that aged poorly, because I think they handled it very well, especially with Baby Doll. I think they handled that very well.
Yeah, that their whole thing with, this meaning that it's that you're a criminal if you have one of these, disorders. It just doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense at all, because, well, then you would have to also, that's got to be all around. You got to give it to Livewire then. But moving on, number 4, Killer Croc represents multiple troublesome tropes. Like Baby Doll, Batman, the animated series, Killer Croc has a chronic condition that the series connects with his evil doing. Croc's history does not get a deep dive, though mentioning atavism or epidermolytic hyperkeratosis, the conditions Croc has in the comics, would at least demonstrate that his appearance is beyond his control. Making a distinction between his condition and his criminal tendencies would be even better. Here they go again. Multiple times, Croc finds people who are also othered by society who accept his differences. The multiple times he uses those people for his own ends. The series seems to give people with disabilities the choice of being criminals or dupes, with heroism off the table altogether.
Why didn't they just group this into like one big argument? It seems like this is their main argument, which is not total crap. But I don't understand why they didn't just put that into one.
I think it's total crap, because they're not saying that if you have this ability, you're a criminal. And I don't think that came off as that. Like, as kids, were you?
Well, no, but I understand what it may come off as. Like, if you have a disability, then you're I guess more not inclined, but you're more likely to be a criminal or whatever. Like, I can understand how it comes off, but
okay. So it's basically like we want to see more disabled heroes.
Yeah, I think they want to see different representations involving, disabled people. And I can understand that, because as far as it goes, all the villains do have disabilities, but I feel like, I don't know. It, like you said, that goes all around.
Yeah.
For every villain, they all have, even the heroes, all of them have issues. But I guess they mean physical abnormalities, so that I can understand.
Right.
So that's why I don't think it's total crap. But I think it's just the way they're presenting their argument is not.
I get what you're saying. No, you're right, because and they could definitely have lumped this and the Baby Doll and the Two-Face.
Yeah, I feel like this just be one thing. Like, why is it being spread out like this?
Just basically one thing of all the villains, were the only representations of disabled people or people with problems.
Yeah, because then it's like, well, why is Killer Croc's worse than Baby Dolls? Why is Baby Dolls worse than now you're just presenting a whole nother host of problems that you don't need to do.
Yeah, because this is an ordered list.
Yeah, so why are you ranking it like that?
Shame. All right, so number 3, they got Talia al Ghul is too lovesick to be believable.
Oh,
There's just no way.
what?
I mean, okay. I know different. I've seen women way more. I've seen men and women way more lovesick and
First of all, if they're gonna put that
crazier.
argument, you need to slide Harley Quinn right on in there right now, because she is the biggest lovesick puppy ever.
Hello.
And yes, she is, abused, right?
Mhm.
That kind of plays into her continuously going back to the Joker. But hello. I
Yeah,
just feel
yeah.
like if you're gonna put her in there, put Harley Quinn in there as well.
Mhm. Well, maybe Harley Quinn's number 2 or number 1, but they should
No,
have lumped
I
them together.
doubt it.
What's it say? It says Talia al Ghul is usually her father's daughter, believing that the ends always justify the means and manipulating or maintaining a painfully pragmatic view of the world. In Batman the Animated Series, though, Talia is much more emotionally motivated. This is not an issue in and of itself, but in this series, it pushes the audience's suspension to disbelief. Of disbelief.
She's always been emotionally motivated because she's always had a love for Bruce. So
Right.
I guess we'll see what they mean by that, because that doesn't
Yeah.
make sense.
Yeah. Well, they said in Off Balance is the name of the episode. Talia demonstrates the ruthlessness she is known for. However, in the Demon's Quest Part 1 and the Demon's Quest Part 2, she displays an uncharacteristic helplessness. And this loss of competence is never explained, and watching her flounder around her beloved is unnerving at best. Sounds like a personal issue, bro.
That seems like a personal issue. I don't really remember those episodes, so but I just don't think she was super lovesick. Oh yeah, like this person said, Dr. Freeze too. Throw him in there.
Yeah.
Her, Harley, and Dr. Freeze. Throw them all in there.
That's right. That's right. Yep. And yeah.
That's
Yeah, that's right. Well, and this is number 3. But anyway.
That goes above the argument of disabled people being presented as criminals.
Yeah.
I gotta disagree with that. How are you messing up your own list? Like,
yeah, not at all. So number 2 is Dick Grayson needs to respect women.
Oh shit. Well, I mean, Dick Grayson has been repeatedly presented as a dick in the comics. And
really?
So.
I thought he was like the Boy Scout, the good one. I thought it was
no. The way he's a dick to the women. He messed around with Barbara, he messed around with Corey, Barbara and Corey at the same time. He's a playboy. He really is. He takes after Bruce in that way. So I kind of agree, like, yeah, his treatment of women could definitely be better, but let's see what they say, like within like the show.
Yeah, because I didn't know that. I really thought Dick was the good one, the really goody one. I thought Damien was maybe the more or Tim Drake, not Tim Drake.
Who's the other one?
Tim Drake? Who's the one that's the Red Hood? I thought he was.
Jason.
Jason Todd, yeah, I thought he was the one that would be the. But so they said Dick Grayson is usually a good egg. Okay, so yeah, I was right. Usually a good egg. However, in Batman the Animated Series, he has a tendency to mansplain and doesn't always give women the benefit of the doubt even when he should. When Barbara takes up the mantle of Batgirl, Robin is quick to write off her abilities, telling her, "I don't have time to babysit amateurs," as if the woman who stopped the car of a gunman the previous evening can't hold her own. When Poison Ivy explains that she created a family of plant people because she wanted one on her own terms, Robin declares, "Lady, you're nuts." Ivy's methods are certainly questionable, but her goal is understandable.
No, it's not. First of all, second of all, they're definitely reaching, because
Really,
I don't have time to babysit amateurs. That would go for anyone. If he had to be responsible for anyone else, male, female, non-binary, whatever, like anyone. So yeah, they reached for that one, but he is a dick to a lot of the women in the comics, so but they didn't mention the comics, so the argument's mute.
Yeah, and they didn't mention any of the things that you're talking about. So
yeah, like, so that's kind of mute. I thought they would talk about like their actual relationship.
Yeah.
petty.
No, that's one-liners. Lady, you're nuts, and I don't have time. Well, okay, so lady, you're nuts, whatever. But I don't have time to babysit amateurs. I read that and I was like, well, what if it was a guy? We would have been said the same thing. She's
Yeah, it's the
new.
same
She's an
thing.
amateur. Doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Oh, because she's a woman, he has to be like, oh, you're a god. Like, come on.
Nah.
Nah,
They were reaching for that one.
For sure.
And then they're saying Poison Ivy's goals are understandable. No, they're
Oh.
actually not. I don't think so.
And I don't think her goals would really align with your morals.
Yeah, like you're like, what do you?
It doesn't align with what you're saying here. So, but anyway, this is
Number 2. This goes above the disability argument. The only like good argument they have on this entire list. Yeah, Damian Wayne also does have issues with women too. Yeah. I don't know if I would say over Dick Grayson, but definitely up there. Mm-hmm. Exactly. They scrapped when they first met. Like, come on.
Yeah, but he come on. This, like you said, big reaches here. So number 1. I am speechless. I'm speechless. What?
Oh man. So the essence of his character that's been alive and well for 70 plus years now has aged poorly. Got it. Okay.
And yeah, what? Like, okay, I gotta read this.
Yeah, we gotta read this one. Wait a minute.
The number 1 thing that aged the poorliest from the animated series is that Batman is a vigilante. Okay. Batman is a fan favorite character for many good reasons. He's highly motivated, clever, and technically has no superpowers. Just because the character hasn't aged well doesn't mean fans can't enjoy his escapades. It is important to remember, though, that Batman is a vigilante, which means he is accountable to just one person, himself. This is very dangerous.
Which has been addressed
to death. The Caped Crusader, as he appears in the Batman animated series, regularly demonstrates that vigilantism is dangerous. Though I think he demonstrates that in every single time we see him. But anyway, though Batman holds himself to a particular standard throughout the series, that standard could change with few consequences, and some of his methods might be because, dude, we know why vigilantism is illegal. Like, I get that. Are you serious?
Like, hello, he works with the police in secret for a reason.
Yeah, dude. Like, yeah, and exactly, and it's like of all the vigilantes, he's actually working with the cops, so it's like he's the least vigilante of them all.
Oh,
that is absurd, bro. I can't believe they even. This is a great, and this was fun. We just read this for fun.
Yeah, this was fun, but like, holy smokes!
It's it is like it makes me want. This is one of those what do you call it? They just did it for like to have content,
clicks
to make
clicks.
Just to make up some content.
Oh my god!
Like we did by reading it.
Exactly.
But yeah, that was funny. Okay.
Oh man, that was crazy.
Really, really, really. Oh man. So all right, so I promised what did I promise? Rings, things, thrones, and wars. Okay, so we haven't touched any of those yet. All right. Let's touch the rings. Here we go. So Lord of the Rings. Lord of the Rings has a spin-off coming up called Rings of Power, or the Ring of Power.
Yes.
And forget that is missing beard. The Rings of Power. So the big thing that everyone was scared about is this show not following the lore, not following the books, not being accurate and those things like that, which I think that's sort of the concern with anything that's, translated from one medium to another. Their reasoning is because they feel that it's going to be over diversified, too many people of color, too many whatever, and it's supposed to be fantasy, medieval, whatever. but you forget it's not medieval England. It's Middle Earth. It's a fictional fantasy world, and of course, in the world, people look different. So those people really need to think, how real it would be more realistic if there were different kinds of people. It would
Yeah,
be
I mean, who cares? Like, who
and
cares? As long as they're good characters, who cares?
exactly. So
Like,
if you care, you're just a racist piece of shit, basically. Because if they're acting, if they're doing the role well, if the script's written good and the dialogue, it doesn't matter.
yeah,
So
because even in like there's a new movie on Hulu out called The Princess. It's like set in medieval times, and there are
right,
people of color, there are Asian people. Like,
right.
it doesn't matter. Like, who
It
literally
does
cares?
exactly, and especially in fantasy,
Yeah, like,
it's not like you're doing a historical medieval London drama or something, or like a historical Viking thing where there probably weren't many different people besides white people in that part of the world at that time.
right.
But if you're not doing that historical thing about that specific place, it's called fantasy, people. There's dwarves, there's elves, you know what I mean? Come on. So, but that's the big worry. And the apparently that the rings of power will break the Lord of the Rings dwarvish lore, according to comic book what's the name of that shit? Comic book, I don't know, CBR.
Oh,
And
okay, yeah.
yeah, CBR. I can't think of what it stands for, but I have all right, so this is the trailer for the show. It's a little teaser. It's like a 1-minute thing real quick. So let's run this. Here we go.
The skies are strange.
Looks good to me.
Yeah, looks good to me.
Yeah, it looks really. And another thing is that is going to cost them over $1 billion. This is the highest budget ever spent on any show in history. Game of Thrones, nobody's touching it. Over $1 billion they're spending on this series, just the first season.
This better be the best season of television, maybe just visually, that we've ever seen ever.
Yeah,
For $1 billion. That's insane.
that's beyond nuts. That's crazy.
That's insane.
Yeah, it really, really is hard to kind of where are they putting it? Where is it all going?
Yeah, like, the original Lord of the Rings movies didn't even cost that much. Like,
No, they didn't. That's right.
and they look great. So,
Oh yeah, they're phenomenal. And they even still look decent. I mean, compared to like today's effects and stuff, they still look pretty good. But
yeah.
you got to take into consideration inflation and all of that too. So I mean, it's probably just costs more today than it did back then. But the the breakdown, I forget, but like one of the episodes was like $250,000. It's like, it's crazy. But what is that meteor that you see that they're looking at? So that the whole teaser, they're like following this meteor, and I don't recognize it from anything from like the books or the stories, but everything out of this show is taken out of like the appendices. That's like, this isn't like an adaptation of the novel itself. This isn't an adaptation of any particular story. This is they went through the appendices and read like Tolkien's notes on shit and like descriptions of, you know, what he like backstories for stuff for characters that were in Lord of the Rings, and he goes like thousands of years back in history and writes, you know, backstories for the land and all of that. And so this show is based on all of that stuff, all of that extra stuff that an author usually keeps to themselves. Usually you write a book and you have backstories and stuff drawn up for characters and everything, and
Right.
you that's for you to know and helps you develop, you know, and write the character. But he basically published it, you know, basically is what he did. He basically published his stuff like that. And that's the ultimate world building. If they're, you know, talk about world building. I mean, this guy
That's an interesting way to do that.
yeah, dude.
Risky too, but
Yeah, he has like a whole fucking chapter just describing a sword. Like it's that
Oh.
it's almost like they're like textbooks in a way.
wow.
There's story, there's novel to it, of course, but like I said, he'll go on for pages just describing the hilt of a blade or something. Like it's so like very rich. It's so rich, but it's one of the most popular franchises out there. But the Rings of Power hasn't really caught on yet. The series is set to hit Prime Video in September, but like I said, not everyone is excited. Some of the Lord of the Ring fans are going all in, but a healthy majority is like very cautiously optimistic at best. And others want nothing to do with the series after its writers have admittedly embraced a loose approach to Tolkien's established canon. But that's what I mean. It's based on Tolkien stuff, but it's not an actual adaptation of any story. So I don't.
You're gonna turn away fans automatically. Any book reader is like, no.
Yeah,
I would be like, no.
Yeah, I mean, at the same time, though, for a fan like myself, I like when I saw Star Wars, I wanted to see, you know, Anakin. I wanted to see Obi-Wan when he was young. Like I wanted to see all the stuff that ended up being the prequel movies. And then in the prequels, like they talk about stuff that ends up being like Old Republic novels and stuff like that. So I love that shit. So this for me is going to be great because this is going to be the world building and all that stuff that I love from any type of literature. But Tolkien did it so richly that they're not going to be just making up stuff. It's coming from the books.
Right.
But if you're looking for it to be the story you read, it's not that. And they're not passing it off as that. So
but I think that like just knowing that they're being upfront, you know, people are gonna be like, cautious. Ooh, no.
Yeah.
So I can understand that. I can understand both sides.
For sure. Even still, Amazon is putting its full might into advertising, trying to build the anticipation for the large scale billion-dollar budget. And there was a teaser during the Super Bowl that they did.
Wasn't that the one where they poured the lava in and it made that was awesome. Not gonna lie, that was great.
yeah, it was. And then there's another one coming July 14th.
Yeah.
And there's the one we just saw. And Amazon has released a pre-teaser, I think, to that. Yeah, they did. I actually, there's another teaser. So yeah, there's been a bunch of little teasers.
Lord.
The ensemble cast and grand vistas and strange meteor that, you know, has been the common thread between all the teasers. There's this meteor. So what do we, you know, the first teaser showed the meteor flying through the sky, but the pre-teaser put the meteor in focus. Each member of the ensemble cast looked to the sky and saw it, you know, hurtling towards Middle Earth. So from a writing perspective, it looks like some kind of call to action, as if the meteor will sort of unite the various characters from the different places and bring them to the one spot. But exactly what it is the question. But in Lord of the Rings, there was only one meteor that they talked about of note, and it fell from the skies in the First Age, which is when this takes place, and landed in the west of Middle Earth. There, Aol, the Dark Elf, found it, and from its iron from the meteor, he crafted two evil swords. The Angriel he kept for himself, and the Anglachal would eventually be wielded by Turambar. Some of these names you're gonna be like, what? But who renamed the tragic sword Gurthang. However, with all of that happening in the first age, it doesn't look like it will have it will have in bearing on the Rings of Power. Besides, unlike Aeol's meteor, this meteor looks to have supernatural implications. Looking back to the Super Bowl trailer, there's a moment where you can see Ground Zero, the place right where the meteor hit the ground, but it wasn't just destruction. It was a large fire, and the fire was swirling like a tornado. And to make things weirder, there was a figure inside of the fire who wasn't on fire. And that alone points to something supernatural happening with the meteor. And then add in the fact that it's a flaming call to action, and it's clear that the meteor is something larger than life. But again, like it I don't know from the books or the literature what this thing could be. It could be something they made up, but knowing all that, like there's only a few predictions that would make any sense. Like maybe the meteor is how the Valar sent the 2 blue wizards to Middle Earth,
Right.
which you don't know about unless you read the stuff, but it could be something that wasn't called a meteor in the book, right? They could have called it could have been something else, but that we just call it a meteor because what it looks like. But some fans have predicted that the 2 blue wizards will appear in the series, but that seems a little showy for the Istari's mission. Another possibility is that the meteor is how Sauron will reveal himself as Anatar, because the big bad Sauron comes in and poses as the emissary from the Valar, the sort of angel people in the mythology. Or the meteor could be part of the series' most enticing enigma, which will puzzle viewers for a while. But either way, the most exciting enigma is let me see. Lord of the Rings. No, I'm trying to read this part real quick. The entire Rings of Power production was one massive question mark for the longest time, but Amazon has started to unveil new details on a flurry of releases. First came the hand posters designed to invite speculation. Then Vanity Fair published the first official look at the series. Most recently, they did the first teaser trailer, which gave fans a glimpse of the series' biggest mystery. All those fans know there won't be any hobbits in the Ring of Power per se. It will portray the hobbit adjacent characters called Harfoots. Oh, you know what? So this is another stupid thing that they're doing because they just don't know any better. They've got these characters that they aren't calling hobbits. They're calling them Harfoots or Brandyfoot or whatever, but those are hobbits. They're different families of hobbits.
Why don't they just label them as such? I don't get that.
My question is, do they even know? Do they even know? Like, and that's what a lot of people are worried about. But
maybe they'll think this will take off like the boys did, and then they'll just keep milking that for whatever it's worth.
I mean, I hope it does well. I hope it's good. I really don't care what other people think about it. That I don't care. I mean, maybe everyone hates it, so what? I just hope I like it because you know. But I don't care, man. I don't care what other people think about stuff. If everyone hated Stranger Things, I'd still like it. I like Stranger Things after the first episode, before it was a phenomenon, before anyone else loved it, and it became a big thing. And if it never did become a big thing, it would be my secret pleasure. But I feel like a lot of people follow the bandwagons, and they everyone hates it, so I hate it too. Like I'm just not like that. I'm just not like that.
Yeah, sometimes that's the case.
Yeah.
Oh no.
But yeah,
that argument's kind of developing around Thor: Love and Thunder. Oof. Yeah. I
Yeah.
don't know if it's necessarily a bandwagon though, based on like reviews I've seen. I just think people are kind of being more aware of what they're watching. However, it has not been received well. Not
No.
entirely.
Yeah,
Not
no, a
really.
lot of people are unhappy with it. I haven't watched the whole thing,
Mm.
but I sort of watched the bootleg of it. But I only watched like the first, I don't know, like the first little bit of it. And
Mhm.
for me, it was just bad joke after bad
Yeah,
joke after
that's what
bad
people
joke
were
after bad
saying.
joke. Just joke,
Oh,
joke, 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 joke,
yeah.
and not funny.
Yeah, that's what people were saying. I was like, oh, this is what I was afraid of. They were saying, like, literally, like, that first half is just like boom, boom, like you just said, joke, joke, joke. And it didn't land. So I was like,
Yeah,
oh,
they did not land. But Christian Bale, God Butcher, phenomenal. He
yeah,
killed it. And I
that's
felt
what people were
bad for
saying.
him, dude. I
Yeah.
felt bad for him because he was doing such a good job. Like he was really, putting his effort in and really acting like a man who just lost his daughter and his whole village was gone and he was just like broken man and you could see it and he's playing it and he's opposite this other guy, this other character who's just a slapstick goofball. And it was just bad. It just was I was just like, damn, the god that he was talking to, the goofy guy, the funny guy, just takes you out of it. It takes you
Yeah.
out of the story.
Like they're saying like a lot of serious, like tense moments are like painfully undercut with the
Yeah.
joke. And I've always hated that with the MCU specifically. So I was like, oh no. And even Christian Bale, like he was saying like a lot was cut out of the film and he had wished some parts stayed in. So I wonder what that is. If we get an extended cut, I don't,
Yeah.
we'll see. But yeah, I'm gonna wait till it drops on Disney Plus and then I'll check it out. I feel like
Yeah.
I don't want to pay to see this. So I'm gonna
I'm
wait.
not. Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm not even and I can't believe that.
Yeah,
Like, I'm
it's-
blown away. Like, I was waiting for this movie, like,
yeah,
so hard, dude. Like, I wanted this so bad because I love the Guardians of the Galaxy movies. I hate that all the other MCU movies try to be comedies because Guardians was a success. I hate that part. But the movie Guardians is my favorite MCU movie. But I hate all the other ones that try to be like it.
right.
But I like that. But I
Yeah,
know a lot of people complain. They were thinking like well, they made Thor into this, kind of joke character. But I recently watched the first Thor, and he was always a goofball.
yeah. But
Always.
I feel like with the first Thor movie, I feel like there was a balance. There was a balance between him being like,
Yeah, he had his moment.
honestly, Thor, he's always been naive. He's been naive to Earth customs and stuff like that.
It's out
But
of water jokes.
yeah, and but I don't think that was ever equivalent to him being unintelligent. Like he
No,
was never as just dumb
no,
as he is
yeah,
now. And
right,
somewhere along the way, the two merged for some reason. I don't know why. And
yeah,
now we are where we are, and it sucks because I'm not like the biggest fan of Thor, but I kind of liked where they were going with him in the
right,
MCU, and then it's just like, oh well,
yeah,
that
yeah.
sucks.
I do, and I'm the same way. Like I was not a fan at all of Thor in any way, and I didn't think I
Yeah,
was even gonna like the Thor movies and stuff. Like I didn't care for Thor at all. But like you said, just the way Helmsworth played him and the way he was written and the storylines, I was liking it. So, and like I said, Guardians was my favorite, and I've
yeah,
been waiting for Guardians 3, but then I knew Love and Thunder. I'm thinking Love and Thunder is gonna be Beta Ray Bill and fucking, you know what I mean? Like all this great stuff and Gore the God Butcher and all this stuff, but it's Taika Waititi upon Taika Waititi upon
yeah.
Taika Waititi.
I think they gave him a lot more freedom,
Too
and
much.
that was the worst decision that they could have made. Judging from that right there, and what you have said and what other people have said.
Wow.
Oh man.
That's
Now I'm
terrible.
gonna be nervous to watch this film when it comes on Disney Plus.
I really feel bad for Christian Bale now because
Yeah.
That sucks for him. This is his MCU debut. It would have been great. I'm sure his parts were all phenomenal. Because what I saw, the little bit I saw of it was, and I've heard that people really liked his parts.
Yeah, people really liked his moments. They said it like when he was on screen, like everything was super serious.
Yeah.
And the jokes kind of just took a break. So
Yeah.
that's what they were saying.
Yeah, and if the jokes are good, like in the first Guardians movie, even in the second one, if the jokes are good, then it's good.
Right.
But these are bad. These were bad jokes. Like I don't know who. I was like, are they supposed to be bad jokes? Like that kind of shit. Like I'm like, man, they're trying to be bad because this is just bad. And like I said, I was this far into the movie.
Oh yeah, you got a long ways to go. Oh no,
I'm dreading it.
Disney Plus. No,
I started the movie, and then something called me away, and so I paused it. I did whatever I was doing and stuff, and then I remember when I came back to the computer, I was just like, I'm not right now.
I don't even need to rewind it. I'm good.
Yeah, not right now. I mean, I know I got to dredge through it, but it's just crazy to me because like I was really waiting for this movie. It really scares me, man, for the MCU because they did not need another loss. They could not.
The Phase 4 has been so rocky.
Yeah,
this was not it, guys.
The only good things that came out of Phase 4 was probably like the shows and Shang-Chi.
Yeah, because No Way Home. I mean, well, is that considered Phase 4? I guess that's considered Phase 4.
Oh, is it? I still never think of Spider-Man as MCU.
I know, like it's so weird, and I think that's why people, the MCU, they bank on that, and I'm guilty of that because I will see a Spider-Man movie regardless if he's in the MCU or not. But yeah, I don't know if that's technically Phase 4. I'm not sure.
Yeah,
but even then, that was literally just like nostalgia. So
yeah, that was just fan service. I mean, it wasn't like a great film and a great story or any of that shit.
Yeah, no.
Spider-Man.
Yeah, nah. It's just fan service, and I'm guilty. I like it just because of that and that only. So, oh yeah, Shang-Chi, and then some of the shows. I don't know what they're gonna do.
I don't either, man. Because I think they were really depending on Love and Thunder. They really were. They were like, "Oh, this is the movie."
Marketing. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and they were, they keep saying like, it's not. Phase 4 wasn't whack. It was just COVID and everything making the movies delayed and going out of order and all that, and the momentum wasn't there, and like they're blaming all this other stuff. And just wait, you'll see Love and Thunder and then the worst one yet.
Yeah, I don't know. They were really banking on this one. And I know a lot of people were excited to see it because of the trailers and everything. I was kind of indifferent just because I never really cared for Thor like that. And then after, Endgame, I was very much over it. So I was like,
I liked Ragnarok. And I liked Thor. But the reason I was really wanting to see Love and Thunder was because of the Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yeah.
Gore the God Butcher. Just seeing Jane Foster as Thor didn't interest me at all. Well, rather I say seeing Natalie Portman as Thor didn't interest me at all. But I still haven't seen her scenes or whatever, so I don't know how well she did, but she just didn't fit the role to me. Yeah. I didn't think that was the right actress for that role, but
she was okay. Yeah, I agree. I don't know if she was the right person. They say her comedic moments didn't land, so I was like, oof.
She's not a comedian.
Yeah, she's not. Like, and I don't even know why they would bother bringing in Jane after all this time. You're making yourself do way more work than you have to, because now you have to explain all that time lost between Thor the Dark World, because I think that was the last time we saw her, to now. And what she's been doing, her relationship with Thor, like that's just a lot of work you don't have to do. So I don't know.
And then all of a sudden now she's just stage 4 cancer. We haven't seen her. She's got stage 4 cancer.
Yeah, and it's like that's kind of weak. You want me as the audience member. Yeah,
Like,
like
I don't
even
know
me as
anyone
an
with
audience
stage 4
member can get
cancer.
behind that.
Yeah, come on.
I'm not going to be emotionally invested just because you throw cancer at my face with a character I haven't seen in 10 years. Like, get out of here. Like, that's crazy.
But I believe in the comics, like, I think that's why I think it's in the comics she has cancer, and that's
Yeah.
why. Yeah. But
Yeah.
I
That
haven't
is
read any of that shit. Yeah. I haven't read it, though. I didn't read any of the Thor, what do you call it? Jane Foster Thors. I didn't read any of that.
Oh, yeah.
But so I don't know anything about it. So that aspect didn't, but it was the Guardians of the Galaxy
Mm-hmm.
that this was kind of like Guardians of the Galaxy 2.5.
Yeah, I
Like,
thought it was going to be a nice team up, but apparently they're not in the movie that long.
well, apparently when they are in the movie, they're like, why are they even here? They didn't even need to be there, kind of thing. I was like, man, that sucks.
That sucks.
It really sucks. But Game of Thrones spinoff.
Oh yeah, they're getting a spinoff too. Yeah.
Yeah. There's actually a couple Game of Thrones spinoffs. There's House of the Dragon they're making right now, which is going to be based on the Fire and Blood novel, which is going to be about the Targaryens and all of that. And then there's a couple of other ones. There was actually a list of them that they're actually making, but I know there's a Jon Snow one where it's going to be like just a Jon Snow show, which I couldn't be more excited for. But I don't know. I'm trying to see if I can see the list right here. No, this isn't that. No, that's the name of the peoples. But yeah, House of the Dragon will also, they say it's going to change the way you see the Starks. So if you guys watch Game of Thrones, did you watch Game of Thrones?
I still haven't seen it yet. I gotta get on it.
Okay, yeah, you're the one that. But yes, the Starks were like the main protagonists of Game of Thrones. But and they've been seen as the sort of the heroes of Game of Thrones. But House of the Dragon will show a different side to the family. House of Dragon is adapted from, like I said, George R. R. Martin's Fire and Blood novel, which is almost like a textbook type of Tolkien type book, where it is more of like telling about the histories of the Targaryens versus like an actual story. Like, you get my drift.
Yeah.
It's telling about them rather than like a drama of them. More like it'd be like a documentary versus a fictional.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I get you.
Yeah.
Okay.
And it's like an exploration of the Targaryens family line and history in Westeros, with a focus on the climactic civil war, the Dance of Dragons. Beginning approximately 200 years before the Game of Thrones timeline, House of the Dragon will depict the fear-inducing sides of House Targaryen and House Stark that were rumored in the original series. While House Stark served as the primary protagonist for Game of Thrones, the historic family will be taking the back seat for the majority of House of the Dragon. As House of the Dragon depicts the Targaryens at the height of their destiny, the prequel series introduces a more cynical approach to the realm amidst fire and blood and vengeance. House Stark's family members were all found to be sympathetic figures in the Game of Thrones, but in the prequel series, leads, the Targaryens, along with most of the characters surrounding them, will struggle to maintain a pervasive likability throughout the series.
That'll be interesting.
Yeah. But after revealing that the House Stark will appear in the House of the Dragon Season 1, anticipation for the iconic Game of Thrones family to return grew, because it kind of has died out. But however, it should be noted that House Stark depicted in the House of Dragon will not be the same House Stark remembered in Game of Thrones. Just forget those guys. Those were good guys. These are just guys. They're just different people. And House of Dragon is not going to be the same as House Stark that we knew. The family's role in House of Dragon will become important once Rhaenyra and Cregan Stark seal the Pact of Ice and Fire. And this allegiance may not occur until season 2, but the most important event for the Starks in House of Dragon will occur at the very end of the war, with the Hour of the Wolf, which will be the moment that truly explains why Southern Lords long considered House Starks hard, unyielding, and blood hungry, ways a significant contrast to their merciful depiction in Game of Thrones. Cregan Stark and the Hour of the Wolf. Well, this is all stuff from the books, and this is not stuff from the Game of Thrones show. Like,
Oh, okay.
this is
So
not.
source material and everything.
Yeah. You're not gonna get. Yeah, you're not gonna. You'll like the places and everything will be the same from Game of Thrones. If you watch Game of Thrones, it'll be taking place in the same places. King's Landing, the castle, all these places are still there. The names of the houses and the families will all be recognizable. It's just that any storyline, I mean, this is hundreds of years a prequel, so it won't have anything.
Maybe I'll do the prequel before the show.
I always am jealous of people that get to do that.
I feel like that's a good way to go.
Yeah. I'm so jealous when people get to do that, man, because especially with the Star Wars, the sequel trilogy and stuff.
Yeah.
Like my
they
son
can go all the way back.
Yeah, bro. Like my son got to see those movies first, and then because I don't know, it's just it's a whole other perspective. You just see it differently. It's like a completely different perspective, but I don't know if it's better to watch the prequel first before you ever
sometimes
see
it isn't. So
sometimes it is not.
Yeah.
Because sometimes you kind of need to know the stuff from the original for the prequel to make sense.
Right.
And so, but I wonder if I don't think even the prequels of Star Wars would have been as good if you didn't know who like Obi-Wan was and you didn't know who Anakin was becoming. You know what I mean? Like, you definitely kind of got to see the original first. So I don't know. I would recommend you seeing the original. I would recommend Game of Thrones over anything you could watch.
Game of Thrones now.
Best show ever made. I watch it at least once a year from beginning to end, whole series.
Oh, nice. Yeah, it has like 8 seasons, right?
Yeah. And I watch every one of them episodes again. Like every year since it's come out, I watch them all again. It's that good. It's like I'm going. I swear to God, it feels like I'm going to visit family, bro, when I turn on that show. Straight up. But Jon Snow's Game of Thrones sequel.
Yeah, I'm aware of Jon Snow, so he's like a main guy, right?
Yeah, he's a main character in Game of Thrones for sure.
Yeah,
and he's well, I guess I don't want to ruin that for you.
Yeah, I'm not gonna forget it. It's okay.
He's one of the only main characters that doesn't die.
Yes, that's true. Yes.
Game of Thrones is big on killing their characters.
Actually stay dead.
Crazy. Oh yeah. Yeah.
That's what I'm most excited.
Most of them.
Oh.
Most of them.
Uh-oh.
Yeah. But and I guess I can't say he didn't die. Yeah, no, he did die. Yeah. Okay. So no, they killed them all.
Well, that'll be exciting because I won't know when or where or how.
Nope. But it doesn't get any better, dude. It's so good because it's the production quality. I mean, the costumes are like layered and they don't look like people from our time doing a movie about that time. It looks like
I've seen like pictures and seen like little scenes and it looks incredible. Like you just see it's like that's their world. Like it doesn't feel like a movie production. It just feels like that's their world. This is their story. So I was like, wow, this looks great. I should check it out one day.
Yeah, no, you should. You should. I recommend it. I highly recommend it over anything that is on right now, especially out of the shit that's coming out now. But yeah, I'm really I had no idea. I'm really excited about a Jon Snow sequel that is currently in development. It's not a prequel, it's a sequel, and there are a few possibilities for who the show's villains could be. In a surprising report, it's revealed that Kit Harington is involved in a Jon Snow spin-off series set after the events of Game of Thrones season 8 and with a different, still not announced creative team, which worries me. But at the same time, those guys were getting burnt out, and that's kind of why we got the ending we got. but so I'm kind of I think someone else could do it. They
Yeah,
weren't
New Vision's always, not terrible.
no, and as long as they've got the actors and the writers that know the content, it can be good. I
Right.
mean, as long as they know the shit well, and I'm sure they do. Most people do. But as every other announced Game of Thrones spinoff, other than House of Dragon, the Jon Snow sequel is still in the very early stages of development. Although the involvement of Kit Harington and the importance of the character suggests that it could become a reality sooner than later. It's not like one of the other spinoffs that came and just fizzled out. There was because they always talked about Game of Thrones spinoffs, but they never happened. They were just not happening. Like whatever was causing it, they were just dying. And but they were never Jon Snow. Like that's a character that they can bank on. They can know people are gonna watch this.
Because I know a lot of people were really excited when that news came out. Like they were like, "Oh yes, let's do it." So
yeah. And prior to the announcement of the Jon Snow series, all the other Game of Thrones spin-off shows in development were prequels to the original story, Song of Fire and Ice. So this will be the first one that's actually going to be a sequel. And I was like, man, so all we're going to get is prequels because like George R. R. Martin still hasn't finished the last book.
Yeah, people are getting on him about that too.
It's ridiculous. So how can they make a further story? Like give this man the time to write and finish this goddamn book. Like we are waiting to see what happens, my friend. Come on, bro. You gotta.
How long has he been writing this book?
Years.
Oh,
many years. I'm trying to see. I'm looking at all the books I got. There's 5 main novels,
right?
And the 6th one is the one that he's been working on forever, bro.
I would say give him a deadline, but you never want to rush.
No, but I think it's been like 10 years or something.
Oh boy,
like that ridiculous.
No.
But despite the criticism, Game of Thrones season 8 played like a true ending and tried to wrap up all of the important storylines. And I didn't hate it. Like when I saw it, I liked it. When I thought about it and hearing people's arguments about it, I was like, okay, I kind of see what you're saying, but it didn't bother me. Like I wasn't watching this like, man, this sucks or they should have done that. I didn't feel that way while I was watching it.
Oh yeah.
And,
well, I mean, at least you enjoyed it.
Yeah. And one of the main characters that this is hard to talk about when you haven't seen it, but I
promise you I'll probably forget and then I'll be very surprised once I get all the way to season 8.
Yeah. Well, one of the main characters, so I'll try to do it like this so you don't know who I'm talking about. One of the main characters that you're kind of rooting for the whole show ends up being someone that you didn't think they were going to be. And
wait, is this the lady who ends up burning the city down with her dragon?
Yeah. So, but people were upset and people thought that it didn't make sense and blah, blah, blah. They're dead ass wrong. It makes perfect sense. If you watch her whole evolution, she's getting crazier and more unhinged and doing more dark shit and becoming more like her, father who was insane, the Mad King. And you're just seeing it. You can see it, dude. You can see where she was going. And when a person feels like they are right and that they have the best intentions and the best and they want to do the best for the people and they feel like that they're right, they're never going to question their selves. They're never going to second guess anything. Like everything they think is going to be law and they're just going to think that because of that they're infallible. And that happens. It's like power corrupts. But you see her, she's got mental illness in her family all down the line because there was incest all through the house of Targaryens. They kept so she had. So I mean, if you watched it knowing, dude, I think it was blatantly obvious. I was not surprised at all. I think it fit perfectly. and it was good to me. But more especially, Jon Snow's story seemed to be completed, like it was done. But as the character had chosen to, renounce his Targaryen birthright and any connections to the politics of Westeros. But however, the Game of Thrones sequel project reveals that there is still a Jon Snow story to be told. Given how Game of Thrones finale did not leave many loose ends, I mean, they tied it all up really well. It's important to look back at the characters and storylines connected from the books that were connected to Jon Snow or Aegon Targaryen, but never made it into the Game of Thrones show, to try to predict who the villain of the spinoff would be. So it's also interesting to revisit some of the most popular Game of Thrones finale fan theories, like as the Jon Snow spinoff could turn some of those into reality. The 5, I think, best ones are the Night King. What is this one? Let me. Oh, did I put him in? There he is. The Night King.
Yes, I'm familiar with that.
Yeah, the Great Other. So this could be very well the short-lived long night, and the relative easiness with which the Night King and the White Walkers were defeated is one of the most criticized points of Game of Thrones season 8. One of the biggest thing people hate is that the whole series, the entire Game of Thrones since season 1, was the buildup of these guys, the White Walkers, the Night King, and the Army of the Dead, and the whole thing. So for 8 seasons, this is this big looming threat, and they're fighting it, and then when they finally the wall comes down and they get the fight, it's like done in one episode. And so people were like, that was too easy. But again, if you go back and watch it, it wasn't easy. Like, watch what those characters go through and how they barely pull it off. I mean, barely. And without the luck that, that was had, they would not have pulled it off. So it was not in any way easy. I think people just thought it should have lasted longer. Like, they should have somehow drug that war out over a few episodes. But I guess,
okay.
And I can feel that. Like, I think so too. But the guys that created the show decided to make the last season the shortest season.
Oh,
and they were, you could tell they were just tired. Like, they were just done. I don't know how, because it was probably the best experience of their life, probably will ever have, making Game of Thrones. But for some reason, they thought they were better than Game of Thrones and that they were going to move on and do Star Wars movies.
Oh yeah, didn't that not happen?
Exactly.
Oh my god.
They should have nurtured their baby, man, and made sure it went off perfectly. I mean, they just thought that Game of Thrones could do no wrong, and for the most part, it couldn't. But yep, they botched that. But in the end, it was the Game of Thrones played by Cersei and Daenerys that was the final battle of Game of Thrones, and not the conflict with the undead. So it wasn't all about them. It was about the two queens. But the Jon Snow spinoff has the chance to flip it by revealing that the Night King and its creations were just part of a much bigger evil, and sort of save the bad ending. So in the A Song of Ice and Fire novels that the Game of Thrones is based on, the followers of the god LOTR, such as Melisandre and the other Red Priests, believe that the Lord of Light, the god, had equally powerful opponent who represented its exact opposite, kind of like God and the devil. Whereas the Lord of Light represented fire and life, and the so-called Great Other represented cold and death. So the books never made it seem like there was a physical embodiment of the Great Other, but Melisandre believed that the others referred to in the Game of Thrones as the White Walkers are creations of this devil-type character. The Jon Snow spinoff series could bring that concept by having Jon facing a new creation attributed by the Great Other. Then there's Three-Eyed Raven, which could be, so that's your boy right there, Jon Snow's younger brother, and that Raven right there, you can kind of see he's got one eyeball on the top of his head.
Oh, that's so weird.
The Three-Eyed Raven. Bran was his name. He made sure to let everyone know, including the Stark family, that he was no longer Bran, but that he's the three-eyed Raven now. After he, went through his transformation, his
Yeah, his
evolution,
arc and
his
everything.
journey. Yeah. But the most controversial decision of the finale, I think, Bran becoming king at the end of Game of Thrones, leaving the question of why the three-eyed Raven would be interested in taking care of the politics of Westeros. Even if there was no hidden meaning in the Bran becoming king storyline, the Jon Snow spinoff could use it as an opportunity to establish that the three-eyed Raven is actually a menace to the world when given the power to rule all of Westeros. The three-eyed Raven's goals were never made very clear, especially in the book, which makes it a great concept to sort of,
Oh yeah, you could really work with that.
work with that. Yeah.
So wait, there
Now,
were 5 main books or 6, right?
5.
5? Okay, so like
There
does
is
that
6,
mean-
but he's not finished with 6.
Oh, okay. So does that mean after the 5th season they didn't like have any more book? Wow.
Well, it wasn't directly season for season, every
Right,
book,
right.
but I think it was in the 8th season they sort of they had to with George R. R. Martin, with the author, they
Yeah.
came up with an ending
Gotcha.
that hopefully is different than the book. And I think if he's smart, which I know he's not an idiot, he's probably going to go, okay, well, this is what they hated about the ending of the show. I'll fix all that in the book, and hopefully the book will, be what people think it should be, not because he should do what people think it should do, but
Right.
because he's writing a certain story, and if you're following that story, this is where that story is leading, so this is where it should go.
Right.
But yeah, so we'll see. But I think I think some of the last book 6 is probably in the show, but I think they changed some things so that A, you wouldn't know the ending of the book, so they didn't ruin it. And B, so that they could, finish the show the way they did, because they crammed so much. Those books are thick, dude.
Yeah, the books, I've seen the books. They're huge. Like they're like Harry Potter, like competing with them for thickness. Yeah, like look at that.
These are like Harry Potter.
Yeah, like good
These are-
God.
Yeah, these are Potter all day.
Ooh.
Um,
I think that was the biggest book I had ever read in my life. It was like a Harry Potter book. It was like 1,000 pages. I was like, why did I do this?
that's what this one is, 1,000 pages.
Oh, no.
973. Yeah.
That's a lot of story. Ooh.
It is, and I've read them all. But and he's got some other side books too. He's got the a Knight of the Seven Kingdoms with Duncan Aegon. And that's another spin-off show that they're going to do as well. So if anybody read the Duncan Egg stuff, you're going to be happy. And that's a really cool story. But yeah, the three-eyed Raven thing, not only would it make for an interesting clash between brothers, but it would also sort of fix and make the Game of Thrones finale better in hindsight.
Yeah, I think that's the most interesting one that you've brought up so far. I feel like they could really like work with that, and it wouldn't impede on what they've already set up within, the show. So, yeah,
hopefully can help it. This is Val. She's a new Wildling clan member. The Wildlings and Jon Snow, I think, sort of ended up together. I think in the end he sort of went off with the Wildlings. No, he didn't go. Did he? Yeah, he did. He went back in the snow. Was that him? Shit, now I watched this shit like 18 times. Holy shit. Yeah. So he goes. Yeah, but he's down with the Wildlings, and there are several A Song of Ice and Fire characters who were not in Game of Thrones that are in the books. A lot of them.
Okay, so they might bring them back one day.
Yeah, and they can bring in. So I think that they'll hopefully use characters from the book for this. They should. It only makes sense. I think it's inevitable, actually. They couldn't really do it without doing that because the people in the show are gone for the
Yeah.
most part, and the ones that are around, they couldn't carry a story. So
Yeah.
unless he did something with Arya, that could carry a story. That's another one. But
Oh yeah, she's the little girl, right? Well, not
Mhm.
little girl, but she's like the young one. Yeah.
Yeah, she's the youngest one, becomes an assassin, becomes
Yes.
the faceless man where she can turn into anybody, kind of like Mystique.
Interesting.
But Val, also known as the Wildling Princess, was one of the many people whom Jon Snow bounded when beyond the wall with the Free Folk and in the books. And Val was the sister to Mance Rayder's wife, which was the king beyond the wall. And as such, she was always close to the most important decisions made by the king beyond the wall. And Val is described as fearless and has an aptitude to lead, which can make her an interesting character to open Jon Snow. Obviously, having Val appear after the end of Game of Thrones would make her story a lot different, as she had been around since the second A Song of Ice and Fire novel, but it could still work. Jon and Tormund, who is one of the wildlings that is like his best bro, are now the leaders of the Free Folk. They sort of walked off into the across the wall into the north at the end of Game of Thrones, but the world beyond the wall is huge, enough for any wildling clan led by Val to appear. So it's definitely now you've got the children of the forest. This was another aspect that could
Ooh, that looks cool.
yeah, it could be expanded on. The one that's all the way over to the right, she's sort of like the main the lead one.
Gotcha.
The one the one that's not under my logo, the other side.
Oh, okay. Gotcha. You're right. Got it.
Yeah, my left actually. Fuck, I'm
Right.
thinking.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yes.
my left. Anyway, yeah, but the children of the forest were like a really crucial part of the Game of Thrones Westeros mythos. But as the Night King and the White Walkers, the resolution of their stories on how the show brought more questions than answers. I think expanding on this aspect would be a really great way to sequel from the show. The Children of the Forest were created. They created the first White Walker. So the Night King, the guy with the ice zombie guy,
Right.
so he was created by the Children of the Forest. The Children of the Forest are not actually children; they're just small, and so the men that discovered them just saw them as children, and they call them the Children of the Forest, but they're actually thousands of years old.
Oh wow.
Yeah, they're very ancient and powerful in magic, and so they created the first White Walker as a means to fight the much bigger human men that were sort of uh making them go extinct,
Yeah.
killing them. And so they created the first White Walker by stabbing a shard of obsidian into the heart of one of the men, and the man turned into the Night King, and then he touched other dudes and turned them into other White Walkers, and then they were able to reanimate dead people and created the army of the dead.
Wow.
Yeah, it's like dominoes. But they were said the Children of the Forest were said to be extinct, but Bran eventually ran into a small group of them remaining in north of the wall, and that group also did not survive though after the show. But it is possible that there are still remaining Children of the Forest somewhere in Westeros. Similar to what happened 12,000 years ago, the remaining group could try to create a new, better controlled White Walker to destroy humanity. Calling for Jon Snow's intervention. Could be, they could be the next big bad, because the same, just like they did in the past 12,000 years ago. They created this guy because the humans were slaughtering them, and now that they're almost extinct, basically at the fault of the humans again, it would stand to reason that if they could, they would create a better, more controlled version of this guy, because these guys were completely out of control. They created them. These guys created these guys, but then these guys just
Kind of
took
went
over.
berserk. Yeah.
Yeah, they just took over, and nobody controlled anybody, and they just killed everybody. So it was like a backfire kind of thing. But if they could sort of maybe tweak the magic or whatever, That might be a possibility. And then, of course, Daenerys herself being resurrected, like by the Red Priest. Because theories about Daenerys Targaryen being resurrected became common after the show ended. While most of that stemmed from the fact that many did not like Daenerys' ending, it's not at all far-fetched to imagine that Daenerys could be resurrected in a Game of Thrones sequel, although this is probably the least favorite of mine because just let her be dead. Like,
Yeah, like, it's okay.
she went through enough. Like,
Right.
people that are brought back by the Red Priest aren't the same. They're not, they're not like it's not good. It's not a good time. So I don't think they should do that to her. But it was confirmed by the Game of Thrones showrunners that Drogon took Daenerys to Volantis, the dragon. He basically scooped her up.
Oh, Daenerys is the woman with the
Dragon
dragon.
Queen.
Got
Yeah.
it. Okay. Okay.
Yes. And at the end, after she dies, the dragon scoops her up and flies off with her, and everybody's like, did he eat her? Where did he take her? Like that, because that's the last we see her. It's like, well, where did they go? So but he took her to Volantis, which is the place where they're sort of from. But that was where Kinvara and other red priests like Melisandre lived. They're from Volantis. And so meaning that one of them could try to resurrect Daenerys, meaning that the dragon, being super intelligent as they are, could have known that's where the red priests live and could have been flying her there for them to resurrect her. It makes sense.
Yeah, it's a solid theory.
It's a very solid theory. I just don't want her back.
Her story is complete.
It is. Like, she was one of my favorite, if not my favorite characters of the show. Hands down. Loved her.
Oh yeah, I heard a lot of people really liked her. And that's why they were like so upset.
Yeah, no doubt. It's just that I could see that that's where she was heading. I mean, I think she went overboard, and I really kind of don't know if she would have went that far, but her being a tyrant was inevitable. It's how tyrants are born. Like, you got, what, Muammar Gaddafi or something, or like Saddam Hussein or Hitler, like all these people, they think they're doing the right thing for the people. Like, it's going to be much better this way. You'll see. Just listen to me, do things my way. And because I know what's right and I know what you should all do. And you can't tell that person that they're evil or wrong because they feel like they're doing it for all the right reasons. No one thinks they're the bad guy. And because of that, when she did something wrong, she couldn't see it as wrong because she knew she was right and she knew she was good. And she knew that in her heart, all she wanted to do was help the world. Right. So that happens. And then, people, they can't handle that. They can't handle all that power.
Yikes.
But, yeah, that's the Thrones. We got coming. And, what else did I say? Stranger Things. The Duffer Brothers. So the Duffer Brothers, on Millie Bobby Brown's call to kill more characters, said, "We are not Game of Thrones." The girl that plays
she plays the main gal.
11. Yeah.
11.
Have you watched this yet, Stranger Things?
Oh no. But I know the characters. I know of the characters. I know kind of what's going on. I just haven't actually physically.
Is there any reason why you haven't watched it?
Oh, I just hasn't really caught my eye. Like, even when it first came out, it just never caught my eye. Maybe it's because I didn't grow up in the 80s, so my attachment wouldn't be as strong. So yeah, I don't know. It just never really caught me like that.
Well, a lot of people your age love it. A lot of young people love it. Kids love it. Like, everyone loves it.
So many fan edits on Instagram.
Yeah. But I'm sure you would like it. I'm sure you would.
Yeah, I think I would.
Yeah, you don't have to just be, raised in the 80s. It helps. I think being a kid in the 80s makes the show so much more enjoyable. But I think when I was a kid, I knew a lot about the 60s and I loved the 70s, and I like watched movies like Dazed and Confused, and I loved that shit.
Right.
I didn't grow up in the 70s, but I thought it was cool. So like I'm sure that people could get that same thing. But in a May interview with The Wrap, Millie Bobby Brown and Noah Schnapp were open about their desire to see more main characters killed off, citing the show's ballooning cast size as a reason.
Yeah.
And Noah Schnapp suggested writing a massacre scene into the upcoming episode to get rid of unnecessary characters. But Bobby Brown said she wants them to take out more big main characters.
She probably wants them to take her out. She could take a break.
I know, right? But she said she called them sensitive Sallies for refusing to kill more characters. But if that was enough of a hint, she gave the writers even more clear marching orders. We need to be Game of Thrones, she said. We need to have the mindset of Game of Thrones.
Hey, I mean, it could lead to great storytelling. It could be tense. You don't know who's gonna make it. So I'm here for killing off a main character. Like, hey,
yeah. I mean, for me, keep it a buck. That's what made me a fan of Game of Thrones off rip. When the last at the end of the first season, something happens to a main character, and I was like, what? They did what? I was like, no.
Yeah.
That's fucking, I love that. Oh my God. That's so like, that's like you said, it's great storytelling, and it makes for great stakes. You don't know who could die. And like in most shows and movies, you see the main character going through shit, but they're not going to die. They're not.
Right.
They're not. Game of Thrones, no such thing. No such thing.
I heard that's why a lot of people were like really like, yes, because it's just the stakes are so high, and it's not just for shock value. It actually helps to enhance the story or enrich whatever's going on, and that's great. Like, you always want that. You never want it to be for shock value, because then that's like
no. It's not, because it's like you really care about the characters. They make you really care about them, and so that's what makes it so effective, and so epic, and it's what makes the stakes high, because you care about these people. So when they die, it's not just like, oh, that's gonna suck for such and such. You're actually like, fuck,
right? Because I think the boys, I think they do it for shock value. They do it for shock value. Like, even with this season, like like the finale, when they fake killed like two main characters, but I mean, they're gonna be back, so it's like, all right, whatever. But I feel like that might be different with Game of Thrones, and if they decide to do it for Stranger Things, that too.
Yeah, and because it's like they in the boys and other shows, like they'll make a character just to kill him, like Translucent, like he was like, oh, this is one of the 7, and they just made him to kill him, because he's not a main character. He doesn't last very long in the show. And with Stranger Things, they just they had a character, and they killed a main character in this last season in the finale. Spoiler alert, sorry. But the one of the they started this new season with a new character,
and then
they make you love him throughout the show, throughout the season, and then they kill him at the end. It's like they made him just so you could love him, just so they could kill him, just so they could have some drama. But if they actually killed someone that you've been like watching since season 1, because
that's what they did with the boys in the finale. They did that whole thing with Noir in the previous episode, and you're thinking, oh, he's gonna get his payoff. No. I'm like, damn, that kind of sucks.
Nothing. So on to Star Wars. Jude Law has a Star Wars series coming out. that they just started filming. That's interesting. Thanks to Star Wars legend Dave Filoni and frequent Disney Marvel Star Wars collaborator Jon Favreau, Disney Plus is a haven for Star Wars content, and some good, some trash. But beginning with The Mandalorian, exploring a new corner of the Star Wars universe, the streaming service has, continued to plan and promise more content coming in the form of short form limited series. They don't want to do like Star Wars movies anymore. They just want to do series. Which I would be fine with because I like the series format over the film format. I'd much rather binge a show that's really good, like Game of Thrones, and have 60 hours over all the seasons of content versus 2 hours, and that's all I get.
Right.
So I like that, but it's got to be good because Obi-Wan sucked ass and Boba trash. But yeah, they've always got new stuff coming, and now that viewers have been treated to Mando, and the Bad Batch, which are pretty good, eyes are on the horizon for what's next, what could actually be good. Of course, the Ahsoka series is taking.
That's coming up. Andor, and then this one.
Yep. But there's a smaller and more surprising project that may sweep in and sort of take over the hype train. Jude Law is joining the Star Wars universe, and his series has already started filming, apparently. If you're not really sure who I mean, that's this guy right here.
Yeah.
He was in.
He says his thing is called Skeleton Crew. He says that's what it's called.
Yeah, Skeleton Crew. So Skeleton Crew. So according to Bespin Bulletin, Jude Law's Star Wars Skeleton Crew began filming at the end of June. But the show has been filming in the same location at Manhattan Beach Studios, the exact location that was home to The Mandalorian, Obi-Wan Kenobi, Book of Boba Fett. So it's probably going to be, along that line, but it's going to be really geared toward kids, like little kids.
Oh.
Like this is not, how Star Wars is for kids. No, this is for little kids. So it'll be very much a child show.
Gotcha.
But not only is the series following the other significant properties, but it joins Ahsoka, which has been underway for some time. There are additional locations listed in Culver City, California State University, but the series is produced by Dave Filoni and Jon Favreau, so it's going to have content that is along the lines with Star Wars. I don't think it'll be bad at all. It will be directed by Spider-Man trilogy director John Watts. And it's quite exciting that Watts is coming over from the MCU right into Star Wars, I think. And the storyline for the series is sparse currently, but there is a little bit of information that we can lean on to sort of predict what we'll see. John Watts has said this is about 4 kids around 10 years old who get lost in space. So that's... it's gonna. So during Star Wars Day in the spring, Watts commented that while it stars children, it isn't a children's show. It is meant to be enjoyed by all ages, which that means it's for kids. But,
yeah, we'll see about that one.
But plenty of shows and movies in recent memory have taken that route, like Stranger Things, or Stephen King's It, or I don't know, but yeah, like I can see them making a show about kids, not for kids. That's fine. I mean, they do it all. That doesn't mean that it's going to be for kids, but I don't know. That's just what I've heard, that it's going to be like a kiddie show.
I can believe it with Disney. Yeah.
I mean, you know what I'm saying? Like it doesn't. It's not.
I can believe it.
Yeah.
Because we've debated how many times, like not even like, with Star Wars, with the MCU, you get baited and then no. So
yeah. Apparently there's also some inspiration from Dave Filoni's Clone Wars, the TV show. A group of 6 younglings are attacked by pirates on a ship while returning to the Jedi Temple on Coruscant. Ahsoka was taken hostage during the raid. The 6 young Jedis who have just gotten their lightsaber crystals must find a way to save the Padawan and get back home. There isn't any indication that this is a storyline that they will use, but it could work well in the universe with Ahsoka already making appearances. And we'll have to wait and see what Jude Law can bring to the Star Wars universe. Maybe a pirate on the search for the young Jedi as one of the bad guys, or maybe an older Jedi or something like that. I think he plays a great villain though.
Jude Law.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he does. He does.
He's got the face too, so definitely.
Yeah. I can't. It's slipping my mind right now what he did recently.
Jude, what have you done?
Something that I saw that I was like surprised.
I'm not sure. Oh, he was in Captain Marvel. That's right, he was in Captain Marvel. The only thing I remember of recent memory was the talented Mr. Ripley, but he wasn't like
that's old.
Yeah, that's old. He wasn't the villain in that though. He could have been, but he wasn't. Right. I can't think of recently though.
Yeah, no, he was in something. Fantastic Beasts.
Oh yeah, The Secrets of Dumbledore. That one. That's the most recent. Yeah.
Yep. That's what it was.
Yeah. Okay, he was the villain. I think.
I think so. Black Sea. What else? There was something else though. There was something. Maybe it was that though.
I mean, if you're speaking of recent, I think it might have been that. Yeah.
Yeah, it must have been that. But he's great. He was great in Sherlock Holmes. He was great in King Arthur. That's what it was.
Oh, so that was from 2017. The Legend of King Arthur. Yeah.
Yeah, that was not new. That was, but I just saw it for the first time. But that's what it was because he played that villain in that. He played the bad
he can
guy.
play a good villain, definitely.
Yeah, bro. He's a really good villain. He was cool though. In AI, that was a good one. Repo Man is my favorite though, with Jude Law. Repo Man.
Why does that sound so familiar?
Trust me. Forrest Whitaker and Jude Law. Fucking dope. If you haven't seen that, y'all check that out. That's a really cool movie. Repo Man. Fucking dope. RZA's in it. Like, it's dope. Gattaca, fucking, back in the day, Alfie. But yeah, I think whoever he plays in a Star Wars movie would be cool. I'm not worried about it at all.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Okay. Later.
I forgot that Stu was gonna be out for the week because I wanted to talk about this Star Trek thing with him, but he ain't here, and I don't really know about it enough. But we just but we just talked about James Caan, who just passed away. We just talked about the Hollywood gangsters that have been dying lately. We lost Paulie Walnuts from Sopranos, and we lost Sonny from The Godfather. And this guy here, this piece of shit, he's such an asshole. So you see this scene right here?
Yeah.
That's The Godfather. Let's watch this scene real quick so you guys have context.
Respect slop, still betting Yankees pretty heavy? Tell them to stop taking action now, right? We lost enough money last week on the deal. Oh, come here.
my sister again, I'll kill you.
Touch my sister again, I'll kill you. But
That
yeah,
was crazy.
that's the iconic scene where Sonny beats up the guy that beat up that hit his sister. And this is him right now today. He's a total joke in circles of the mob. He gets on YouTube and he talks about, like, he makes all these wild stories and claims like he was really in the mob and all this shit, and it's like the real gangsters and stuff just laugh. But he's so funny. He's funny, like laugh at him, not laugh with him.
Uh-oh.
But he so he recently had the fucking nerve, and so Jimmy Conway. Well, so in the show or in the movie The Godfather, that character is a real asshole. Everyone hates him. He's a real piece of shit. And apparently, during the filming of the show, the crew and everybody didn't think much differently about the actor, who was this guy, who was Gian. So they kind of felt like he was kind of like, fit his role. Like they didn't really like him either.
Yikes.
And but James Caan just passed away, so he was given an offer he didn't refuse. He couldn't refuse. But so the actor at the time, Gianni Russo is his name, played Carlo Rizzi in The Godfather. And when the Little Italy native helped produce the 1999 football drama Any Given Sunday, he said he got a call from James Caan's agent while they were casting. He said, Jimmy would be great in this movie. He's a great sports buff. Russo, who was 78, told the Post of the Al Pacino-led flick in which he had a supporting role. I said, do you think I would hire James Caan? I wouldn't give Jimmy a part in anything. He was so rude to me.
What?
So he's claiming that James Caan was just so rude to him, and then he's just a bad guy, and he's so rude. He claims that Sonny, who played Sonny, the brother-in-law of Russo's character, was not friendly to him from the first Godfather rehearsal at Patsy's restaurant on West 119th Street. Like, he just was rude. The biggest thorn in his side was, who's Gianni Russi? This guy, he studied with Stella Adler, you name it. He was never nice to me from day one, but I think he was in character because he's a thespian, he said. Russo quickly discovered that he was wrong because Caan, who grew up in Sunnyside, Queens, really did have beef with his castmate. And it didn't help that Russo, who was 27 when he was cast, had ties with the real-life mobsters like Frank Costello, Joe Colombo, and Carlo Gambino.
Oh.
Because he's hanging around with mob guys like Carmine Persico, and mob guys all know me already. I came from Mulberry Street. How do you live on Mulberry Street and you don't know mob guys? He said. He said that Caan fell in love with mobsters through his experience on the 1972 set. Till the day he died, he thought he was a mobster. He thought he was Sonny Corleone, he said. Russo claims that Caan went too far in an infamous Godfather fight scene where Sonny pummels Carlo for hitting his sister. So that was the scene we just watched. And he's saying, that's me. He's biting my hand. He's banging my elbow with that steel garbage pail. Garbage pails aren't steel, by the way, buddy. He chipped my elbow, he said, when I crawled out, and he lifted me in the air. He broke two of my ribs, which was not in the rehearsal. That was me laying there. The word on set was that the director and them were just like, keep going.
Oh, they set him up. Oh,
yeah, like,
boy.
Like, yeah, give him a little extra, give him a kick for me, kind of thing. But James Caan never, he always denied that, never admitted to hurting him. Said he worked, saying that he worked with a stunt double that day. And he discredits me even doing the scene. Unfortunately, we're talking about a guy that's dead, and to his dying day, that is his story. He said he took it all to his grave, as he would say. So
he made all these claims after he died? Oh,
exactly. That's what I'm saying. This guy's a real piece of shit.
Like, why would you do that?
Yeah, what a dick. But anyway, his name is he's Gianni Russo. That's him. He's a joke. Like, I'm telling you, like, because I watch a lot of YouTube videos by like Sammy the Bull and Michael Francis and like a lot of mob guys, and he does videos too. and they're always like laughing at him and shit. And people in the comments are always poking fun at him and shit. He's just a clown, dude.
Oh my goodness. Like after the guy's dead and he can't say anything, say all of that. Like
it's so fitting. Like that's who this guy is. That's Gianni right there. That's the type of guy he is. He would talk shit about the guy after he's dead. I mean, that's just who he is. But last but never least,
it's not the walrus titty juice.
Not the walrus titty juice. So yeah, Luke and the walrus titty. Yeah, it's
Wait, that was a real scene?
Oh, you didn't know?
No, I thought that was just a joke.
Really?
No, I didn't know it was real. That's a real scene. Why did they do that? Why did they do that? Oh my god!
That's what they
thought
did.
It was just a joke that you just had, like, right. Oh, they suck for that. Why? Like, wait, just.
I can't believe you thought it was a joke all this time.
Yeah, I thought it was just like a joke that you made up, and like it was just a running joke. I didn't know it was a real scene. That's crazy.
Fuck yeah, dude.
Holy shit. Wow.
Yeah. Yeah. So, but the fans named one thing that they'd love to permanently erase from canon, and that would be mine.
Yeah, I'm not even knee deep, and that's mine too. Because why?
Yeah, because come on, dude, that's Luke Skywalker. This is Luke Skywalker. That's why everyone hates the sequel trilogies, because of what they did to Luke. That's why you can't say that someone is sexist if they don't like Rey or the sequels, because you did this to a character that is like the most optimistic dude. Like he was like a no.
That's crazy. I really didn't know that all this time.
Oh yeah, that's what I'm talking about. All this time, they really did that shit.
Oh my god!
But yeah, that's the one thing fans voted that they wanted to erase from canon the most. For me, you could erase it, I hope. But yeah. So, all right, guys, it is 2 hour mark is 8:45. I do have to go. I got to be somewhere before they close at 9. But thank you guys for coming and hanging out and chilling with us, hanging out and talking shit. And salute to everybody that's here. We love you and appreciate you. We'll be back Wednesday, every Saturday, and every Monday at 6:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You can catch us right here live doing our thing. And at night after the shows sometimes, but usually in the evenings, you'll catch me on Instagram selling comic books, doing that and all of that. And you can find me right here. That's it. There you go. 6th Element Comics. 6th_element_comics on Instagram. Check me out. You know what I'm saying? We got comics for sale for days. And that's our show, guys. So thank you for coming, and we'll see you next time. Peace. Leave a comment in the comment section.